Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to Truth Mafia podcast with your host, Tommy Truthful. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. So we got a special episode for you guys today and a special guest. We're going to be getting into the Anunnaki and different things with this brother here, talking about Enki, Enlil, Anu, and brother B Dell. What's up, man?
Peace, brother. I appreciate you having me on. We're gonna get into it today. We finna break all types of stuff down, and we finna get a lot of clarity about the delineation between Enki and Enlil and the bloodlines and things of that nature when we're talking about the Anunnaki.
I'm excited for this one, bro.
Most definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, me and you talked on the phone for a minute, and I know if it interested me, like that story you was telling me, I would like to get started really at the beginning, like how Anu came into existence, who Anu is, and then his relationship to Enki and Enlil. If you could kind of just start at the beginning for people.
Okay. When you break down the nomenclature title for the word Anunnaki, it means those sent by Anu to Ki. Ki means Kai. Kai means planet Earth, which is another name for Tiamat when you go to the Sumerian text. So Tiamat is basically the personification of planet Earth, which is Mother Earth, Mother Nature, and things of that nature. So you also have to understand that he had two sons. He had Enki and Enlil. When you break down the etymology of the word Enki, it means Lord of the Earth. When you break down the etymology of the word for Enlil, it means Lord of the Sky, which is equated to Shaitan, right? So Enki, he actually has birthright to the planet by way of Anu. So that is basically the diametrical difference between Enki and Enlil. So Enki, he is part of the Seraphim faction when you're talking about the fallen angels, or not the fallen angels, but the fallen angel is equated to the bloodline of Enlil because he is part of the cherubim. So that gets into the mythology of the 200 fallen angels when you go to the book of Enoch. So the 200 fallen angels are basically the personification of the Nephilim. And when you go to ancient Hebrew, Nephilim is equated to Nephala, which is the fallen angel. So that's because Enlil went against the galactical order of Anu and he got casted out. And when they was casted out, they made it with the daughters of men, who is actually the Canaanite. You got 11 sons of Canaan. So you got the Jebusites, which is the people who control the infrastructure of the political system, the economical system, the movie industry, all the industries that's being controlled by the oligarchs and the plutocracy, which is your so-called Illuminati today. The same people that was found in those tunnels over in New York City.
Right.
All connected to that bloodline. So all this stuff goes all the way back to Sumerian mythology. And as we was talking about, Enlil, he was actually the serpent in the garden, right? But the only thing that people get missed in translation about Enlil is that they're not breaking down the etymological roots of certain words that's connected to these monotheistic teachings. Because when you go to the Strong Concordance 1180, Yahweh translates to the word Baal, who was Baal, who was Moloch. That is the same entity as Enlil. And then when you go to the Strong Concordance H1408, the word God is equated to the word Dag, and the word Dag is an anagram for the anagram from the word Gad. It's the same entity, which is equated to Dagon. So that's why, as far as the veneration and the credence in the dark priesthood of the Vatican Church, they always wear the hat of Dagon. It's all connected to their mythology. So all religious systems is equated to the veneration of Enlil, who is actually your so-called Satan. So everybody who's connected to the religious systems is connected under the lunar cycle, which is under the Piscean age, and that Piscean age was actually the age of darkness. So that the age of darkness in itself is the main reason why people are still under the sleep spell of Leviathan, which is also another name for the Serpent King.
Yeah, I mean, in the Catholic Church, that man, they definitely are worshiping Dagon. And when you really look into that, who else was worshiping Dagon? The Philistines, remember?
Yep, the Philistines and the Canaanites are basically comprised of the same bloodline, because
Okay.
just like the Philistines, like the land of Canaan, right? Like when you got all that stuff that's going on, when you're talking about when the Balfour Declaration expired on October 31st, that whole geographical landmass, the land of Canaan, was actually connected to Egypt, which was ancient Kemet, because Egypt is a Greek term. So that's how you know that, as far as like Greco-Roman culture and the Canaanites, they infiltrated that geographical landmass. So that's why they got exiled out of it. So it goes into that whole mythology in itself.
Was that landmass at one time before they took it over? It was controlled by who? Is my question to you. Was they
We talking about
melanated people?
the land of Canaan.
Because some of the pharaohs and stuff in the later time, they talk about how the pharaoh was found and he had British blood or green eyes and red hair.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that?
No, I've never seen that, but I've heard
But
about it.
but that was after they took it over, right? Before that, wasn't it melanated people there?
Oh yeah, it was melanated people, but see, there's a diametrical difference between Egypt and ancient Kemet. Egypt was infiltrated by those who were still connected to that Babylonian bloodline, because
Oh,
that's why, as far as like Egypt, that is all part of the whole Hyksos dynasty, and you had they got infiltrated because I think Queen Cleopatra is the one that gave them up, so these Hyksos can infiltrate ancient Kemet, and that's when it got transmuted over into ancient Egypt, because people think Egypt is an African term, is really a Greek term.
is it?
Yeah,
Oh, well, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
yeah, because it was called ancient Kemet in the inception of time. During that time period, it was called ancient Kemet.
Yeah, they definitely got that Dagon look, don't they, with their Philistine hat? And I mean, it's crazy how they
Mhm.
just they're the same people, but they'll change their names. You ever notice? I mean, the Greek Empire, it's the same people. Then they got the Roman Empire. Then it mutates into the Holy Roman Empire, but it seems to
Exactly.
be the same bloodlines behind it.
Yep, that's another thing that people got to understand, is that, like I said, there is a diametrical difference between the word God and the Most High. When you see the word God in all these monotheistic contexts, and when you reading the Bible, when you're reading, the Talmud and things of that nature, they're actually talking about Enlil, because the word God is actually a pagan word, right? Because when you're talking about the letter G, that also is also connected to Freemasonry. When you look at the letter G inside the compass and the square, the G is also a representation of the sacred geometry, because when you take the prefix of the word geo, you get, it's equated to the word chi. So it's actually the veneration of the false god taking over the whole geographical landmass of America, and all these countries all over the planet. He's basically, what I'm saying, subjugated the planet with a fermented dome when you go to the book of Genesis. So the book of Genesis in itself is the main reason why, it's basically the creation of the simulation that was facilitated by the archonic forces, who are the cherubim of the Bible, that's connected to
Wow.
Enlil. So that's where the spiritual cutoff takes place. So, because like that's why in Freemasonry they say that who's your God? It's the supreme architect of the universe. Their universe is part of the creation of the simulation. That's why when you look at the Masonic square and the compass, it's a representation of Jack and Boaz, which is the sun and the moon, which is basically two generators that operates on the fractions of light from the spiritual sun outside of the dome. So that's where the spiritual cutoff starts to take place. Then when you go to Corinthians 4:4, it tells you that God, their God, which is equated to Satan, depending upon what version of the Bible that you're reading, it says that Satan blinded the minds of the people. He's actually the God of this world. When you go to Corinthians 4:4.
Yeah, or y'all the Bayoth. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
one and the same, right?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same person, just different names. Just like I told you, you go to when you break down the Tetragrammaton, right? Of Yahweh, YHWH is equated to agreeable and disagreeable. Half Anunnaki, half Draconian reptilian.
Is so okay. Enki, is he Draconian?
Everybody have the reptilian genetic. That's why we have a mammalian cortex and a reptilian cortex. So
Right.
you're able to shapeshift or whatever. But like I was saying last night, a lot of people got to understand that, you know, shapeshifting in itself is not a spiritual ability. It's a technology. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
going to be breaking that
That's
down.
fascinating what you said about Earth having the firmament and that being a artificial representation. Because if you look into Gnostic text, that's literally what they did. See, they can't, the archons can't create nothing from their own mind, but what they can do is they're called the great mimickers. They can mimic, right? So they can take something that already exists and hijack it and manipulate it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like what they did to this reality. It was created organically, and then it seems like they've hijacked and put this AI overlay to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also some type of I believe this. You could see it in the astro plane, clear as day. There's some type of a net surrounding us that I
Yeah.
think.
Matter of fact, that goes into the fact because everything that Enki does, Enlil basically mimics it. So Enlil also has a son named Marduk, and Marduk put up the net of Indria that's connected to the ley line grid system of planet Earth. That basically is the glue and the tachyon energy of the firmament. He put the net of Indria over planet Earth, and the net of Indria is the draconian reptilian net for soul entrapment. So this planet that we living on is basically being used as a energy extraction and a soul trap mechanism that's connected to the false religious systems. So that's why when you look at the cube of Saturn, all religions is basically showing veneration and credence to the cube of Saturn because the cube in itself is a form of spiritual entrapment. It's a soul entrapment. That's what it's about. They're here to harvest souls because that's how they have their genetical self-preservation, by feeding off the energy and the frequency and the vibration of those who are connected to their other system in their simulation.
That's you said something the other day. Okay, so like Saturn symbolism, right? They
Mm-hmm.
say Saturn's the computer, the sun is the power supply, the moon the communication interface modular, Earth the simulator.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that theory goes, the Saturn-Moon Matrix, and um, you said the other day about Jesus. So you know how in Islam they walk counterclockwise around the hypercube, and then in Judaism they wrap it around the arm and crown chakra. Christianity, they're praying to a cross, which is an unfolded cube. So is there anything there, as far as your opinion goes, with why the cube is unfolded? I've heard many different theories, like Jesus is the same as the Neo character, and he conquered the Matrix. Then there's other that it's an allegory
Well,
connected to
it is an allegory because the word Jesus is equated to the word Jesus, because the word Jesus, the letter J wasn't invented until the 1600s. So when you're talking about the word Jesus, you're really talking about the word Jesus, which is coming from the root word of gases. And those gases are granulations and prominences, which is basically a form of Ethereal energy. So when you say the word, that's why some people be like, well, I said the word Jesus and it has a lot of power to it, even though it's connected to religion, because the inception of that word is talking about an etheric force. So when you say the word Jesus, you know, that's why it has a lot of intuitive power to it.
right, the word.
Yeah, the
Right.
word Jesus. But as far as like the mythology and stuff like that, I really don't really believe in it, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, we all got our. I tell people too. There's a lot of my people that do believe in Jesus. A lot of them that think Yahweh is God. I think Yahweh is y'all the Bayoff myself.
It is.
But
Yeah.
but we all have different opinions and different views, and that's cool. I like to share our opinions with each other so we could figure it out, because that's what I'm trying to do. I want to know the truth, what it really is. And if you're not able to listen to other people open-mindedly, you're never going to get there. Some people, they just want you to be in an echo chamber. So if you're not saying what they believe, they feel uncomfortable because they're not intellectually able to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's crazy. But I want to ask you something. Did you ever watch that movie Jupiter Ascending, bro?
I've seen it, but I couldn't really focus on it because I was playing with my son. But I've tried to watch it, but I've seen a lot of stuff as far as like it gave me a lot of perspective on what these grays and these zeta reticula grays and these draconian reptilians are basically all about.
Yeah, well, check this out. So you got this Abrasix family, right? And that's Balaam. So his name is literally a breakdown of Paul, Balaam. And yeah. And then their family is literally called the Abrasix family. Abrasix is Yaldabaoth. It is that demon, that demiurge. So that's their family that goes around and seeds the whole world, like this whole multiverse, this whole universe. It seeded Earth with humans, and then it comes back after Earth reaches its max capacity, and it harvests them. So I'm thinking, man, was they mining gold? Some people think they were mining this orichalcum, this rare metal, but I'm thinking they was mining us, humans. That's my theory on it. And in this, I'm gonna show you where it gets to this part here, and then Paranoid, I'll bring you on in a minute, brother. I see you in the backstage there. In here, that you'll see the symbolism for this bee, right? And the bee represents the Merovingian bloodline, which they try to say they're related to Jesus and all this, but that Flora de Lis equals 666 still, using gematria, which we all know 666 might not have started out as evil. It's a breakdown for carbon, but they've inverted it and attached negative energy to it. So she was going, Jupiter Jones, it's all about her, bro. And her character was going to get her eggs donated so she could make some money on it. But she used her friend, this girl's name, so that she wanted to not put her name out there. And the people running the reality seen that name, it had a flag on, just like when we're out here doing 23andMe and all this stuff. If you don't think they don't know who you are and your past lives and your reincarnations based on your birth chart, it's all out there. When we do these personal decodes, guys, when I'm doing my decodes over on truthfultv.com, links in the bio, by the way, see, the bees won't sting her because she's from the royal bloodline. And we all have a specific code assigned to us. That's what she tells her right here. She said, you guys are just entering your genetic age. You all have a specific genetic code. And when that code resequences, it comes back up. That's reincarnation. So, and now right here, she's going into this nectar. It's called the nectar, and it rebirths her, which is pretty much a representation for the adrenal. And I'm just going to leave that halfway said. But y'all know what I'm talking about out there. That's what this nectar is. It takes 100 humans to make one jar of this nectar. And this is how they were able to live for, like that girl, she was 14,000 years old. Titus is like 15,000 or something. Or no, he was the youngest. He's like 13,000. Balaam's like 60,000 years old. When Jupiter died, because Jupiter Jones is the reincarnation of their mother, which Balaam is the one that killed their mom, right? Because the mom was going to stop all the harvesting. This stuff right here, where they were taking humans off the earth and harvesting them to make this secretion, this nectar, so that they could live forever. Yeah, bro. I mean, that's pretty crazy right there, how much truth they showed us in that movie. If you haven't watched that movie, guys, you got to watch it, because it man, there's so much truth in it. What's really going on, and that symbolism. All I'm gonna tell you is look into the bee symbolism, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
But you also who shows credence to the bee is Beyonce, Bayhive, because
Oh, yeah.
she shows a lot of Blackamoor symbolism in her music videos as well.
Beyonce, the queen bee, they call her, right?
Right. So
And
there's an esoteric connection to it because she pretty much knows what's going on because Jay-Z, he was actually a follower of Dr. Malachi Z. York. He was actually that was actually his mentor. So he knows what's going on. So I'm pretty sure she has an insight about the esoteric information as well.
oh, I'm sure she does too. Well, we're gonna bring on my boy Paranoid American. I'm sure
Okay.
he'll be able to join the conversation with us.
Okay, that's perfect.
You're muted, Paranoid.
Yeah,
Yo.
classic. That's my classic entrance. That's everyone knows me for that. I pop
Okay.
in on mute and I say what's up. Yeah, what's good, man? Nice to meet you, Bido.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, good. My name's Thomas, by the way.
Nice to meet you. I came across some of your videos the other day, so Tommy, he put me on, so nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to y'all, man, because when Tommy sent me the link to your site, I saw the big-headed scientist right there in the corner, and it's one of those topics that like 1 in like 1,000 people seems to have even heard about it, let alone know more of the details about it. So I'm interested as hell about that.
What's that all about?
What are you talking about, the big head scientist?
Yeah.
So my understanding is like the nation of gods and Earth and Jacob and everything, right?
Yeah, it's connected to that, but it's also connected to the Nubian community. So when you get into the Book of Enoch, it's also talking about how you had the Shemites, the ancient Semitic people, and then you had the Hamites. So there is a diametrical difference between those two bloodlines. So the genetic splicing in itself started to take place when you're talking about Yaqub creating the dark races, which is not equated to the ancient Semitic people. So that's where people get a lot of the translation and the mythology and everything mixed up, because they like to put one bloodline under the same bloodline when it's not like that.
How much of that do you think is allegory, but versus like someone actually doing like gene splicing underground in ancient times?
I mean, it could be allegorical, but like I said, according to Dr. Malachi Z. York's publications, he was saying that was an actual thing that took place, and he was saying that it took place on the Island of Patmos in 4086 BC or the Island of P line, but
Seems like the government set that dude up too, bro. If you look into what he went to jail for, and at first I wasn't feeling him because I seen what he went to jail for, but then you really look into it, he might have got set up by these people, which they love to do, don't they? They love to set people up, man.
Yeah, I think the more I looked into the case or whatever, he actually was set up. He's the only one that pretty much, as far as like, coming from our community, he's the only one that really took the time to break down these religions and everything and draw you all the way back to the edification of UFOlogy and things of that nature. He was also a Freemason too. He studied Freemasonry, and I don't know if it was because he went into the lodges and started putting the secrets out in the books. I don't know if that's one of the reasons why they came and got him, but
well, something I've been finding out about Freemasonry too that a lot of people don't know. It seems there might be, just like anything in our reality, you have duality, right? So you got negative and positive, you got light and darkness. So why did the Masons use the white and black? I believe there might be a positive side of it and a negative branch of it. You know what I'm saying? This is just my theory through my research. At first, I was totally thought it was all evil when I first started researching it, but I don't know. I don't know, man. It's definitely very interesting though, but just like anything, I believe that it has a positive and negative faction to it. But I don't know. I would have to infiltrate it myself to really figure that one out. And that
Right.
No
seems like
comment.
too much work for me. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't doing it.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah, it seems like too much work for me, but um I think and plus I don't even think they're the ones really running things like people think. I mean, that would be such a low level. And like me and you was talking about on the phone, Bedell, most of the ones that are on the lower levels, they don't even have an idea of the true knowledge or what's really going on. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
as I was telling, I went out. There's a place where my dad goes. He goes out and they get fish fries, and there's a lot of guys who are masons in there. And it was a guy I was sitting next to, one of my dad's friends, and I covered up. He had like his masonry chain on. I covered it up with my hand, and he didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, some people just don't know what's going on. So I just kind of just left it alone. But like I said, you still got some people who are part of that brotherhood just because they just looking for you know to collaborate and network with other groups of people or whatever. But you got some people who really know the knowledge. Some people really don't know what's going on. They just joining something just to be joining something.
Right. Yeah,
You
I mean, like Paranoid said, a lot of it's like an old man Elks Club.
Yeah,
Bunch of
they do
old
have
folks.
a group called the Society of the Elks. I broke that down as talking about the I forgot the Leave the World Behind movie, because that was showing a lot of the deer and the elk symbolism in it. So it's all connected to that somewhat.
Oh, bro, that deer symbolism. Hey, Paranoid, did you get a chance to look at my deer symbolism I sent you?
No.
I gotta show this to the people, man. I gotta show y'all something real quick. I'm gonna be very careful how I talk about this, so read between the lines.
Okay.
This deer
No.
symbolism is deep, y'all. So we know we've seen it. Okay, this is truthmafia.com, right? My boy Bedell's over here. When I first found Bedell, he came across my YouTube channel. I never had watched him before. Then I seen some of his videos. I'm like, man, this dude is fire. So I started sharing this stuff, and then you came and commented one time in one of the comments. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna put dude up on Truth Mafia and truthmafia.com. It's just a platform where some of the biggest content creators out here in the game right now came together under one banner so we can all cross promote each other, do interviews with each other. You know, I mean, these elites, they got their little secret society and their groups. We damn sure better be supporting each other and have our own, or we're
Right.
gonna lose. But you know, you can see all Bedell stuff over there. Anything he puts out, I'm putting up. My boy Paranoid American, he's over there. Donut Factory, Archaics, Aniasoru, all kinds of people. Greg Reese, Jacob Israel, Jay Dreamers. Shout out to Jay's in the comments. You know, just all kinds of different people. For my Christian followers, we got many Christian people on here. I can never say my dude's name here. Nefertali, 1981. He's phenomenal. I'm not good at pronouncing names, but Sling and Stone, he's another good one. But you know, let me pull mine up so I can show you this real quick. Boom here. Okay. So yesterday I did one on this. We'll come back to this because Paranoid, I got to talk to you about this Challenger situation before you go. But okay, right here. Boom.
Mm.
So I'm watching True Detectives, right? This HBO series. And the new series, the new episode comes out, the new season, season 4. So I watch it. It's pretty good. I had never watched season 1 yet. So I'm like, okay, let me go back and watch season 1 so I can see what's going on here. And first thing I noticed in season 1 is the antler symbolism. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And you know, I seen it in Leave the World Behind. I seen it in Rebel Moon. It was in that movie I told you to watch, Paranoid American, Saltburn. But it's tied to the Rothschilds.
Yep. That's why I seen it at the most at that those masquerade parties.
Yeah, bro, it gets into some dark stuff. I did this video, guys, that I can't play on here because obviously I'll get taken down, but you can watch it on truthmafia.com. I'm telling you, this will be the best 20-minute video you ever watch. It exposes it all. It's all clips from True Detectives, and I could walk through a part real quick without playing it. Oops. Let me do this.
I wanted to say too that the antlers is like an extra level
It's on my video, ain't they?
of this like symbolism, because
I don't even
normally
pay
you
me
got
for
the two-horned god, and that represents an
All right,
agricultural
so
god.
first of all, look at this, y'all. They start showing you the symbolism at 5 minutes and 11 seconds in. This is when they first talk about this type of ritualistic sacrifice that's taking place. And 511, that's very important, because what is 511? Well, if you're using gematria, which comes from Jewish Kabbalah mysticism, 511 is Saturn, right? Slaughter, Saturn, secret messages, subliminal is all 511. And he starts talking about the Yellow King, and that they were taking children and women and, offering them up. And he said they got a spiral tattoo on them. That is their symbol. And then when you get further along in it, you find out that the spiral tattoo is what was on the FBI's watch list thing for these pedo lights. That's my code word for, that's what I call it. Hey, put that on your occultdecode.com for the pedos, bro. Pedo lights. That's our code word for them. So YouTube doesn't know. But let me show you this one part. Oh, right there's the antler symbolism again when he's talking about all the children going missing. But that's what it's all about, guys. They're doing these parties and these festivals. And right here, look. Okay, here it is. This is the part I want to show you. Hold on a second. Okay. The men on the horse and animals. Watch what he says here, guys. Let me pause them. Read the words. Read the words. Curdy D. Mardi Gras. Now, they had an annual winter festival, went heavy on the Saturnalia. You see that, Paranoid? Went heavy on the Saturnalia symbolism.
Santeria and voodoo.
Why am I not hearing Paranoid? Are you still there?
He's on mute.
I'm not on mute. I was saying that that didn't say
I don't know
Saturnalia.
what the hell's going on. Hold on a second. Oh, you know what I did? I'm so dumb. All right, Paranoid.
Yeah, I was saying it says Santeria, not Saturnalia. It's
Oh no, it
Santeria
says
and voodoo.
Saturnalia. Hold on, watch, brother. Watch, brother. Santeria and Saturnalia. Watch. He said they mashed it together. Heavy on the Saturnalia. See? Saturnalia, Santeria, voodoo. They mashed it together. And then tell me this chick up here don't look like that Hillary girl. We ain't gonna get into that, but it does.
Then you got the spiral in the background.
Man, bro, it's all about that. And then he gets this cop. He's like, yo, I broke in their house, and the one guy that was suspected of doing this to the kids, he broke in the house and he got the videotape of them. And that's how he gets this cop to understand what's going on, because he plays the video, and it's them taking this little girl up there and tying her down. And I'm going to leave it there because, that's dark. But people like that, man, it just, and that's rampant in this reality. They love to prey on children. But I decoded this whole thing, and it gets into that what I was talking about, guys, with the honey, right? With what they're trying to harvest. They, like Bedell was saying, they're harvesting that energy. That's called loosh, LOOSH energy. But when they're harvesting the adreno, which stops the telomeres in your DNA from withering, which your telomeres is your wick in your DNA. When that goes out, life goes out. So that halts aging, just like they showed us in Jupiter Ascending, the same symbolism. You know what I mean? We call it thrill oxide, the code name for the adreno. That's what we call it over on Occult Decode.
I was mentioning when you were talking before too that the antlers is like an extra level of the whole like the agricultural deity, because normally you've got the two-horned god, right? That's the green man, that's Baal Hammon, that's all of these agricultural deities, all the way you want to call Moloch, even though that changes. But the antlers is an extra level to that, because the antlers were seen not only as a two-horned god, but the antlers themselves, they would break off and regrow. So the antlers on like a microcosm level also represent this cycle of death and rebirth. So having those antlers is like an extra like extra topping on top of like an agricultural cult that is still worshiping nature and worshiping sympathetic magic of like spilling things into the ground so that the ground will then produce again. And that's we're talking about sacrifice.
Yeah. Yep, and you're right. And who is the god? And what is Saturn? Agricultural deity. And also the god of the witches, bro, is Cernunnos, and he has the antlers too. You know what I'm saying? So that's what CERN was named after. For everybody in the comments out there, Cernunnos. But these numbers are very real. They use these numbers in different events. You got 9/11. Well, the plane hit the towers at 8:46. The first person that took the code red in America, Sandra Lindsay, her name is 8:46. They kneeled on George for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That's a big one. So we see these same numbers because a number is assigned to a letter which holds an energetic frequency. It's all part of magic and alchemy, what they're doing. But I do got a question for you, brother. Which one of these aliens are blocking out the sun? That's what I want to know. What is going on with the sun? Is that Nibiru they're trying to hide up there? Or what is going on? Because this sun don't look right. Something's going on.
Well, like I said, it's all connected to Enlil, the mythology of Enlil. When you're talking about those chemtrails and things of that nature, it spells out ball. You got barium and aluminum.
Yep, you're right.
Then you also got to understand that the great majority, just like when you go over the no-fly zones in Antarctica, the no-fly zone is basically tracing out the sigil of Moloch. And the sigil of Moloch is equated to the Khazarian Tamga, and it's also connected to the Ukrainian crest. So it's all connected to the bloodline of those who control the planet, who are doing the bidding of the extraterrestrial factions of the archonic forces. When you're talking about the cherubim or 200 fallen angels and things of that nature. So it's basically, blocking out the etheric frequencies. That's what they're trying to block out, because ether is actually the fifth element, the quintessential alchemical element that sparks creation and destruction.
So okay, so my boy was telling me, he said, Tommy, the sun is reinstating ancient consciousness, which is activating certain people's 12 strands of angelic DNA. And the whole situation they did with the what with them things they wanted to poke us with was because that blocked certain people from their angelic DNA activating. And that just made so much sense to me I remember when he first told me that was when all this stuff started. And then I said it in a podcast, and a lot of it started to look like it was manifesting in real life. And, you get into the black goo, the programmable matter, what that really is. It seems. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Oh, yeah. So you think that there's something with that? Because this sun is not our normal sun. Our sun used to be golden and pretty. This looks like a flashlight or a sun simulator, which I've seen they launched some sun simulators over there in China. There's a patent number on them. I shared it. Have you heard about that at all, the sun simulator?
Yeah, it is. The sun that we have encased inside of the firmament are actually simulators. They're not. It's not the real sun. The real sun is outside of the dome. These are just operating off fractions of light to give a certain energy to the magnetic field of the planet to basically increase the vibration of it. So, like I said, that's where the spiritual cuts off. The spiritual cutoff starts at in the book of Genesis. That's where Enlil, he slain Tiamat. When you go to Sumerian mythology, he slain Tiamat, and that's when he hired Marduk that put a net of Indria over the planet. And the net of Indria is the draconian reptilian net that spiritually cuts off humans from their spiritual abilities. So this is why you're not able to do psychometry, clairvoyance, intuition, levitation. I mean, all these are spiritual gifts that we've been spiritually cut off. So the creation of the simulation in the book of Genesis is what it's talking about. It's not the creation of the world.
Wow,
I heard a
that's
really good. Sorry, I heard a really good analogy for this one because Tom, you know that blanket that you've got, it's like a Faraday blanket, right? And it has like a little mesh of wires in it that's
yep.
supposed to block EMF and radio waves and all kinds of ways. Well, that's called a
I got it
Faraday
wrapped
cage.
around me right now.
Right?
Speaking of,
I know you do.
you know I do.
So that's called a Faraday cage, and you can just look it up. It's named after the guy that created it, a Faraday. But chemtrails has been described to me before, and I love this analogy as like a spiritual Faraday cage where they spray it out into like the ionosphere essentially, or out in the atmosphere, and it prevents anything, any kind of energy being projected from the ground up, and then for it to get back down. It's because if you look in, aside from the barium and the aluminum that spells out ball, and that was a good call out, they also have versions of it they call chaff, and chaff is just little tiny shreds of like fiberglass and metal and basically just like shavings of crap. But they do that, and it's also used as like a radar blocker for aircrafts. But if you think about the concept of a Faraday cage, they're also creating this huge, massive Faraday cage that can exist over entire cities if they wanted it to. So that's just another example of like a scientific government proven version where they really are blocking signals up above, and now it's just up to you to figure out, well, do I only believe in microwaves and x-rays and things, or do I believe in other types of energy and projection? And if so, you can bet that chaff and all of that barium and aluminum and everything they're doing in the ionosphere is going to affect whatever you think the energy might be possible.
That's correct.
Wow, yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. And the other day, did you guys notice the snow changed? Like the snow ain't snowflakes no more. Go outside and look when it's snowing. They look like little long slivers now, like little sticks. Y'all
I
can,
ain't really paid attention to
I've
it.
been peeping it.
My car.
Yeah, they look like sticks. And when you wipe them off the window of your car, the snow, it has a oily residue behind it, leaves like a rainbow look. I don't know what they're putting in that snow, man, but I did go and look and I found nano snow online with a patent. So who knows? Who knows,
Wow.
man? Who freaking knows what
You,
these
you know, the
people.
new snow, you might be protected from the next wave of whatever's coming out. Like once that snow hits you, like you already got it. You're good.
Yeah.
Especially lately, they've been spraying heavy metals in the atmosphere when you had that. There's a lot of fogging going on, so a lot of people, like the past week, has been feeling very lethargic and sleepy and headaches and things of that nature. So the weaponization of the weather right now is to block out these coronal mass ejections, because we just had like a whole bunch of solar flares hit the planet like a few days ago. So they trying to block out these cymatic frequencies that's coming to the planet for the spiritual upgrades.
Yeah, it's bizarre what's going on out there. Now back to these Anunnakis. Enlil, what did he get in trouble for, brother? What was he casted out for?
Because he had the tablets of destiny. The tablets of destiny is basically your personification of the scroll of all that's connected to the Akashic records, and the Akashic records is acclimated to the epigenetics of who we are on the planet. So that's when Tarnush, when you go to Dr. York's publication of the Holy Tablets, Tarnush befriended Enlil, and that's when he used the tablets of destiny for malevolent purposes or whatever. So that's basically talking about the spiritual entrapment of us being encased inside of a dome, to where you're not able to activate your Akashic records, to tap into, the epigenetics of who we are, to remember your certain past lives. That's why we're not able to tap into that energy. It's the spiritual cutoff. So that's
I'm
what they're
curious,
talking.
how much of this is like harvesting loosh versus just preventing people from being able to fight back by keeping them neutered? Like, is it either both?
The loosh energy that you know about loosh, right? Bidel?
Yeah, I know about loose. It's like it's an energy extraction.
Yeah, the lower vibrational. That's and part of that goes into that whole adrenal. Why they're doing that and harvesting that in the physical to stop them from aging. Whatever entities they're working with is feeding on that in the lower astral plane or the asphere. They're feeding on that loosh energy. So, yeah,
And they
man.
do it by way of technological devices, because this is why they want to create a cyber dictatorship under a totalitarian society. So as far as like, all technological devices and everything connected to artificial intelligence is really working for the archonic forces behind the scenes, because the great majority of our technological devices, it extracts neurons from the body and it uploads it into a neuromorphic cyber cloud. So that's why, as far as like artificial intelligence, is basically comprised of the harmonic convergence of humans on the planet. That's why it pretty much knows everything, because it's taking neurons and extracting everything. It's an energy extraction. That's what it is.
Wow, that's great. And guys, make sure you smash that like button. We got 1,460 people in this live right now. Hit that like button.
Mm-hmm.
Hit them likes.
You can't just hit it. You got to smash it.
Yeah, you got to smash the like button.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was talking more about when Enlil created them. Did you see this too? Before I get into Enlil, when they were saying that was Gilgamesh that they discovered. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I've seen this before. I've seen this a few times.
When they went
I never got into it because I thought it was just a psyop. They just
probably was. Who knows? They put out so many psyops.
That dude looks like a wax figure from Vegas.
Right.
But, hey, look, if he is real, they sure preserved him, didn't they?
Right.
But I don't know, man. That came out a long time ago, like back in before the YouTube was even what it was. It was on the internet, and they were trying to say, even BBC shared that in a video back in the day. I have the raw video of it, and they were trying to say that it was from where they found the tomb of Gilgamesh. But BBC's one to lie as well. They told us Tower 7 was still standing when it wasn't. So, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You never know what to believe when they're telling you something. But
Right.
Enlil, didn't he get in trouble for making the pre-Adamite humans or something?
Yep, on planet Mars, I believe.
And is that
the Adamite project? That's one of the reasons why that Anu casted him out.
Are they the blood of Cain?
Yes, the blood of Cain.
So who would be some families that fall into this?
As far as like you talking about like modern day families right now?
Yeah, like some that people might know about.
Like Rockefellers, Rothschilds,
them demons,
the Orsinis, everybody, the great majority of the popes, the Vatican popes of Rome. What else?
I could name some for you.
Hey, I want to be careful because these are all sponsors of my show that we've listed so far. So let's tread carefully, guys.
Medici's, Cologne. That's Christopher Columbus's homeboy. That's his family. Medici's, Cologne. Then you got some powerhouses that we never really hear of, though. Like everybody, the Merovingians, people, they know who that is. That's supposed to be the 13th family. And what are some of them Phoenician families, Paranoid?
Well, I mean, you mean Venetian families, like the black nobility is a huge component of that too. But
they wore the masks too, them crazy looking masks.
Yeah, it's in Venice. That's a wild spot. But also the Phoenician families, I think, is even more interesting because those are the ones that really did able to stay underground or keep their names out of everything. Because that was just this slow migration of turning from mercantile class into like these agricultural classes, and the way that they would spread, like that's how all of this two-horned god and all these cults and everything, I think, got passed. I think it was more on that than the black nobility. I think the black nobility class, they got alchemy and they got the financial system and just the intelligence operations down to a science. Like that's kind of like one that comes up a lot too is like the Bavarian Illuminati. But the Bavarian Illuminati, they're like, in my mind, the most extreme angle where they've like distilled all the ways that they can manipulate the mind, like here on this space, but deep down, Adam Weishaupt and all the higher ups in the Bavarian Illuminati, they were just atheists. Like if you believed in God or if you believed in spirit at all, they kind of were laughing at you behind your back, and you weren't making it to like their super secret club at the very top where they just make fun of everybody. You know what I mean? But that same exact thing, I think, in the black nobility, it's almost like take what the Bavarian Illuminati perfected, but now also believe, and we believe in magic, and we believe in sympathetic magic and black masses and all of this. And I think that's that's the most interesting thread, because I think from there, that black nobility that's got the mercantilism of the Phoenicians and the religion of the Phoenicians and the Canaanites, all of that keeps and stays to this day. And that's where you see like all of the Marina Abramovich rituals where they got the cake that looks like people and all the politicians and the artists are there. To me, that's looking at exactly what black nobility was doing. The same thing as that surreal dinner ball that happened at the Rothschild mansion with Salvador Dali and a bunch of people. It was an annual thing. They've got pictures from like one of them or maybe two of them, but that happened every single year.
Yeah, how about that dude that y'all ever see that black model Marina Abramovich? They cut his they cut his organs out. His name was Ryan Singleton. And when I first started podcasting, I was doing a podcast on this girl that went to this hotel out in Chicago, Kanika Jenkins at the Crown.
Oh yeah, I heard about.
Remember that? So her organs supposedly got taken at this Crown Plaza hotel, right? So I was going down that rabbit hole, and then I run into Ryan Singleton's brother, who was a YouTuber at the time. It was kind of crazy, and his brother had already did videos talking about his brother that went out to California to do modeling, and he ends up hanging around these people, and he's dating some gay gentleman, and the next thing you know, after he starts dating this dude and going to these parties, he turns up out by, I don't want to say the wrong place, but out by Vegas somewhere, and he everything's gone, dude. They literally took out his heart. In the last time he was ever seen was in a picture with the Marina Abramovich. They had him butt naked, painted up like an Indian or something, taking pictures of him in the woods. It was so bizarre.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That guy, he's the one that went missing, dude, and everything's gone. They just gutted him. Some cops found him, some off-duty cops or something. That was the story anyways.
What season of True Detective are we talking about?
It does sound like True Detective,
right? It sounds like it's straight out of season 1, man.
It does, dude. It does sound like True Detective. That's real, bro.
That's all Babylonian blood magic.
They're doing stuff like this, and look at the what are they called over there? From Carthage, paranoid.
The Carthaginians.
Yeah, the Carthaginians, who were the Phoenicians. Weren't the Phoenicians the Canaanites?
Yeah, it goes. I mean, long stories like Canaanite, Sumerian, they all like mash together, and they go to Tyre and to Canaan, and from there they get onto the sea, and from there they become Phoenicians, where the Greeks call them the Phoenicians once they hit the sea, and then they go and they take over Sicily at some point. They go to the Iberian Peninsula at one point, but then they also found Carthage, which is at the northern tip of Africa, modern day Tunisia, and they own that entire area. And from there, I think it just spreads out and it changes into so many different names and cultures that people just assume that the Phoenicians just disappeared, but really they just turned into everybody else.
Yep. Yeah, Carthage was that's where Hannibal was from. Hannibal, he's the one that took them elephants over the Alps and went to war with Rome for like 25 years. That's why they say us Sicilians are much darker, because Hannibal was a melanated person, and he they had like an outpost on Sicily, and they did some type of DNA test down there, and they said a high percentage, like in the 70 percentile of Sicilians, have his lineage in them. So he must have been doing a whole lot of, breeding when he was down there.
They say Jeffrey Dahmer's a part of that bloodline as well. Because
which one?
The Canaanite bloodline.
Oh, I bet he is.
Yep.
That's psycho.
It all the way back to Count Dracula.
Bro, did you ever watch that Dahmer series?
Yeah.
It gave me nightmares, man. I did a decode on it. Bro, it was so scary. His neighbor, that old lady, if I was her, I would have went up in there. I'm not going to sit there and smell that all night. And she's hearing them drill into people's heads. I mean, it was
making barbecue.
Man, that is so nuts. And to think that he had 15 bodies in there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Have
I
you
mean,
seen that breakdown where I connected that all to the Rockefeller family, like the multiple direct connections to the Rockefellers?
no,
'Cause
break it down for us. Let
so
us hear it.
the two big ones, which is the most interesting, one is there's that sculpture that the Podestas had in their house. It's like this gold. It's called the Arch of like
I've seen
anxiety or
it. You're
something.
talking about the one that girl Billie Eilish does it in her music video. She does
That's
that.
it. So it's like a headless figure. It's made out of gold, and it's like someone's crumpled up backwards, right? And
Yep.
that's the exact same pose that Jeffrey Dahmer left a lot of his victims in, and no
Yeah,
one
he
would have
did
known that. What's
yeah,
that?
he did have somebody. I forgot it was a
The black guy,
politician.
he did that too.
Yeah, it was
He
a
did it.
politician.
He did it to a few of them, and you can actually find that exact pose that goes back into like old medieval books where they were investigating things like possession, things like dementia, things that related to thrill oxide. I won't say the name on here, but somehow he's fascinated with this exact pose, and so is this lady that I can't remember her name. Make more sense in a second, but she's
Luis.
that's it.
Yep, that artist, Luis.
Bourgeois, Louis Bourgeois, I think
Yeah,
his name is.
Bourgeois. She did all the Archon spider designs
Dude,
around
she
the
yeah, she did
world.
the spiders that you saw in New York City and all these big these,
Psycho,
but
dude.
she also did all of these different versions of this, like this Dahmer pose, and hers comes before any of the Dahmer footage gets out. So either it's just an absolute coincidence, or she might have had some inside knowledge. And what makes this extra interesting and linked to the Rockefellers is that Louise Bourgeois. Then I'll let you decide if this is just a coincidence or if this is something deeper. Her husband runs he ran the wing of the Modern Museum of Metropolitan Art, I believe. And he runs the wing that's dedicated to like African tribes and Papua New Guinea and things like this.
Wow.
So he has this collection that specializes in cannibalism, and Michael Rockefeller is the one that goes to study with the cannibals in Papua New Guinea and ends up disappearing. And the context is that he probably got eaten by the cannibals because he was trying to go there and like get their culture and put it into museums and earn a PhD through this big process. He disappears, so they dedicate this wing to cannibalism in the National Museum in New York, and that this is owned by the wife or the husband of the wife that makes the cannibal artwork that was based on Jeffrey Dahmer's. Like, I don't know what the coincidence is here that a
Dude, they're all
cannibal
into
uses the
that.
same pose that the artist makes, and then the artist's husband runs the cannibal wing of the same place where the Rockefeller's child ended up disappearing. I
Well,
think that all of this might be related.
oh, it is all related. Remember they said that Jeffrey was really part of a cult, but they try to cover that up. That he was really part of a freaking cult that was involved in doing these type of ritualistic sacrifices. It wasn't just him doing it on his own, dude. But they don't put that in the movie or the series.
I
And
heard too that he was in the area whenever the Unsolved Mysteries dude, his kid went missing. Was it John Walsh or something? When his kid went missing, he went missing at a mall that was in the same area that Jeffrey Dahmer was at.
oh,
So
that's
that's
great.
another just interesting thread to pull at.
They said he would make his victims too watch the um what was that called? That
It was
scary.
Exorcist 3, right?
Yeah, man. So there's some type of demonic thing going on there, right? But that's that whole bloodline, bro. That's what they're into, man. When you stare into the abyss, bro, it stares back. You
Mm-hmm.
can't play with that type of stuff because it's gonna come back at you. And before you got to go, my brother, because I see we got like 15 minutes left with you, right? I wanted you to touch on before you got to go, and then we definitely got to have you back again, Bidel. You've been my favorite interview in a long time, brother. What is going on with this war over there? Is that's part of the Anunnaki war? And who's the factions in that in Israel and Palestine? Could you break that down for us, brother?
No, really, what's taking place over there is really the great majority of those Canaanites or whatever. They don't really have a homeland because they come from the seed of Nod. So Nod is equated to the Saturnian energy, which is showing credence to and veneration to their god Enlil. So that's why the great majority of Babylonian culture and things of that nature is really based on sacrifice. But as far as like what's taking place over there is really just it's really a psyop from my perspective. as far as like, trying to, infiltrate land masses. And it's also the end of a corporation, because you had the Balfour Declaration expired on October 31st. And then you had, the great majority of all these things as far as the Federal Reserve System, all these things filed Chapter 11. So it's the end. You're at the apex of a system. It's the end of a cycle. So everything is pretty much phasing out. So
yeah, bro. They said them people was paragliding in on damn parachutes, but then I found that video was a year old and it was from freaking Egypt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so they did it on the BBC. They wouldn't lie to us.
Oh no, of course not. They're the same people that told us them people were getting beheaded, and then we found out that was all made up. Remember?
What you're saying is a little concerning too, Bedell. Like I haven't heard this. The expiration of the Balfour Declaration in particular concerns me, just because in order to get to the Balfour Declaration, they had to do World War I and they had to do World War II. And the culmination of those two world wars is essentially what finally gave the Z's their in to actually make that Balfour Declaration possible and like turn it into world law essentially. So if that expires, if they have to like re-up that, they have to go and like replug whatever that is, it doesn't seem like it's an easy process. It's like a WW3, WW4 kind of situation.
Thank you for not saying that full Z word. Shout out to Zion. You know what I'm saying? Because but no, you might be right, Paranoid. We might have to go through a World War III type event because of that we came to the end of that, right?
I mean, that was the Serbian Black Hand that started all of that. The one that took out Franz Ferdinand, that basically starts World War I and then leads into World War II. But I mean, that if you want to talk about black nobility, man, that's one of the direct connections that seems like, if you want to pull a thread, if you find out whoever was funding and orchestrating the Black Hand, probably the black nobility. Like it's right in the freaking name.
And then, that goes into, as far as, when you're talking about the Balfour Declaration, everything is according to the 1813 Apocrypha. It tells you about the expiration date of a corporation. It doesn't say that verbatim, but it tells you that the year of 2024 is the year 6000. So the 6,000 years that was they got the power and the dominance from the evil reptilian. According to El's Holy and Jill, Revelation 17, it says the evil reptilian gave power to the beast, and the beast is basically the symbology of the Canaanite. So the 2024 6,000 year curse over the planet has basically ran out. So that's why you're seeing all these psychological operations. You got, Project Bluebeam, in a running. Then you got the Civil War. Then you got stuff going over, and you got Hamas and all these things. You at the end of a system, so they got to create some type of false flag or a black swan event to basically, extend their timeline, basically.
Yeah. Plus, Pluto is about to enter Aquarius.
No, it already did.
No, but it's going to go out and then come back in. But it's going to stay in Aquarius November 19th all the way to 2043. That's the big event. That's where, because remember, guys, when Pluto returned happened, that was 1776. That was the birth of America. Now, boom, it comes back during this whole fall of America as they're trying to destroy it and flip us to a digital currency, right? And Pluto has an effect on the whole financial system. I mean, there's so many empires that have collapsed during Pluto's return. It's connected to the Roman Empire, and so I think that'll be really big, bro.
And then
you think Pluto's going to be mad that they unplaneted him and then they planted him again, right? Isn't the Pluto the one that they took away from the planets for like a decade?
He's the god of death, Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when he comes back, he's going to be like, who was the one that did that? You go first.
Yeah, you get to go first. But some people be like, oh, it's all flat earth, so the planets ain't real. But I tell them, look, man, it's like sigil magic, dude. You don't have to believe in the planets. The elites do. And regardless if you believe we live on a flat earth or not, think of it as a sigil that they're putting energy into. So it has an effect on us, right? Although my personal opinion with that is I think they're dimensions myself. What they say, the different planets are. I think there are other dimensions throughout this multiverse that we're in. Now, with Enki, that was, if I'm not mistaken, Poseidon, right? Enki?
I thought he maybe was the symbology of Enlil, because when you go to the Sumerian hieroglyphics, they show Enlil holding the trident.
Yeah, but Enlil would be Jupiter and Zeus with the eagle, I would think.
Okay.
Because he could have still had a trident. There's many gods with a trident.
Okay.
They show different ones. Yeah, the trident's a symbol of power. We had the trident on the side of 9/11 Malaysian flight 357 that went missing. It had it on the tail. Their nuclear programs, the Trident program, and also the Trident. It's Shiva in front of CERN. Shiva has the trident that destroyed the three worlds. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I just always thought Enki was Poseidon, the serpent, and then Enlil was the eagle, Jupiter. But what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I think it'd be all the things, because I heard Enki as Prometheus too, because Enki's the one that gave knowledge to humanity, which is the classic tale. That's Prometheus, that's Lucifer, that's a whole slew. Hermes, Mercury, all of them.
Yeah, because I heard the same thing. Or El Qadir, Melchizedek, Zahudi, Tahuti, Thoth. I all equate that mythology to Enki, because he was the one. He was the bringer. He was the provider of wisdom. And Enlil,
Zudi Tahuti. I never heard of that one.
It's different. Yeah, that's ancient Kemet.
Okay, Zudi, I gotta look into him.
Yeah, it's the same deity. It's the same Thoth. It's the same person, just different mythology. Yeah,
man, that's so cool, bro.
Yeah, Enlil, he was also named the administrator, and that's another nomenclature title for Satan.
Satan would be an administrator, wouldn't he?
Yeah. And we was talking in the beginning. His name was, according to Enoch, his name was Gadriel or something like that.
Yeah, Gadriel. And that's crazy. I interviewed this girl, and she was into demonology, and like she read every Bible on this planet. This was back when I still had Illuminati Media back in the day. And she told me, people call Satan Lucifer his real name biblically is Gadriel. And then when you said that to me, I was like, damn, I ain't heard that in forever. But they say that was his real name. So, but that's Enlil, right?
Yeah, that's Enlil, because the word God is even pagan, because God comes from the word Gad, and Gad is an anagram for the word Dag, which is Dagon. It's the same entity.
Dag also means sun too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that we know they're definitely worshiping that in the Catholic Church, that's for sure. Shout out to all the Catholics out there. We still love you though. But B-Dell,
I'm Catholic too, man. I fit in all those buckets.
yeah, we know you do. You're Catholic, whatever, right? B-Dell, we know you got to go to work, right, brother?
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna let you go. I really appreciate you coming on here and rocking out with us. To all B-Dell's followers, thank you guys so much for coming and checking us out. We're gonna do a lot more videos here in the future, and me and Paranoid are gonna stick around for a minute because we got to go over a few things about this little psyop that took place called the Challenger.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna get into that a little bit.
Okay, man. It was nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, it was definitely nice meeting you. And we'll do this again, brother. We'll, let's schedule something when you're off one of these days so we could do a nice long one.
Okay, man, just let me know what's going on and let me know the topic, and we can dig deep and we can bring about this edification to the masses. And it was nice chopping it up with you, Paranoid America. Nice.
Likewise, man. Talk again soon.
So yeah, just let me know what's up, and we can touch in on any topic.
Okay. Yeah, guys, all B-Dell's links are down in the description. Go follow him on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Go show him some love. He's part of the Truth Mafia. I put all of his links at the top. So go check him out, man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
Peace.
Yeah, peace out. So, all right, brother. Yesterday was the 38th anniversary of the Challenger, right?
Yeah,
These
happy
guys,
anniversary, Challenger.
yeah, happy anniversary, Challenger. So, I'm pretty sure they're all still alive. I found them all. And we're going to go over this, guys. I found them all still living. So, it's the 38th year anniversary too, which is going to be epic. If you guys know numerology, something crazy is probably going to happen. Now, before we get into that, if anyone wants to get a personal decode and find out if you're one of these first player characters within this simulation we call life, or one of these non-player characters, that link is down below. I do decodes on people where we go over your life path number, your birth cards, your destiny cards. We get into your gematria. Everyone has a specific code assigned to their name. So we go over all that, and that link is down below with all my other links. Now, Paranoid, do you know much about the Challenger?
I do, and in fact, like I remember growing up it being a big deal, and I've been to Kennedy Space Center quite a few times because I'm here in Central Florida, and they've got a whole exhibit there for the Challenger where you can go and see like all the knickknacks that everyone brought with them. And like you see the dude that's like the kung fu guy, and it's interesting. And I want to just lead with, usually when you bring up some of these theories, I'm
Yeah.
usually the one that's like the ultimate skeptic. I'm like, I don't believe any of that, and I kind of poo-poo on it. This
Yeah.
one, man, this one's got me. Like I actually believe this one. I think that there's a really good chance that maybe these people are alive,
Oh,
and they look too much like the original people. But I mean, this would be world shattering, right? If this were true and these were all the real people that were from the Challenger. Like, the only other option is that maybe they just look like these people, but damn, they look so close, and don't even some of them still go by the same names?
Yeah, dude. And then the crazy part is they try to say, like, a couple of them try to say they got a twin brother, but this dude, he never had no twin brother. So why? Okay, dude, you're an astronaut. Like, you're not gonna name that you got a brother, but when you're an astronaut, you're the only child, and now you got a twin brother after you're dead. How did that happen? Right? It's kind of bizarre.
I'm in on this one, man. I actually think that this one's got
That's
some
amazing
credit.
because you're usually not in. You're
I know, man.
usually
I'm telling you, this one I'm all in on.
so we'll go over my dates that I think they're gonna pull some false
I,
flag stuff.
I don't get
After.
one thing though. Why
What's
not
that?
just take these people out? Like,
Well,
why
I think
even let them exist?
because I think it's part of like a mockery ritual, bro, where they kill
Mhm.
the character off on the world stage. They want to see how many people are aware and how many people are awake because they're dumbing us down with the chemtrails and all this stuff. So most of these people they could get away with anything. You know what I'm saying? But that I think it's part of a mockery ritual where they kill the character on the world stage, but then they're reborn under a new character. That's my opinion with it. So we got Francis Richard Scooby, commander of the Challenger space shuttle, and now there's a same name, guys, same exact name, CEO of marketing firm in Chicago. And you want to see the logo on this marketing firm? Look at their website. It has it's dude, that's their website, bro. I
Oh,
mean,
that's
it's a
wrong.
cow with a rocket spinning around, kind of like what the Challenger did. And I got his LinkedIn down here so you guys can
Well,
check
and
it
it's
out.
got that True Detective look to it,
It does, bro. This is so crazy.
and
Then
it's got the 666 in there.
yeah, it is in there, ain't there? It's so bizarre, man. This is the Michael J. Smith, the Challenger pilot, and now you have a professor who is Michael J. Smith. He's got the same freaking nose and everything. Look at that thing at the end of his nose. That really is that's what I'm saying, bro. They don't care because you would think at least get some plastic surgery or something,
Can we
right?
get any of these people on?
Oh, I would love to. We should try.
I mean, even just be like, hey, here's your chance to dispel all the
Yep.
rumors that you look exactly like this guy in the Challenger and you have the exact same name.
Why don't we
Explain this
try?
to us.
Why don't we try that? We should reach out to him, dude. Me and you say, hey, listen, we're doing a video, and we'll give you we'll be fair. We'll give you an opportunity to explain why this person is not you. I think we should totally do that.
So it looks like Cows and Trees doesn't exist anymore, but I was going to suggest, like, hey, just reach out and be like, hey, I've got a branding project. I'm trying to brand this new thing called the Challenger Conspiracy. Can you help me out with it? Can I hire your company?
Oh, the Cows and Trees website's not
Well,
around
it
no more?
says, I'm looking, it says Cows and Trees, a former Chicago-based branding company
Right.
headed by
Yeah.
CEO Richard Scobie.
Yeah. So it collapsed or something. Who knows? What did it say happened to it?
I'm just looking at someone basically pointing out the same thing that you're pointing out. Like, hey, look at how familiar these guys are.
Yeah. But it was definitely a real thing, 100%, and that is definitely their logo. Yeah, it probably ain't around anymore, but these people go through companies like they go through freaking underwear. So then we have this gentleman, Ronald McNair, who is not, well, he says this is his brother, Carl McNair. I don't know.
What a coincidence that there were so many identical twins on the Challenger.
I know, like, what, they all have twins now? That to me, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Was this like a German experiment?
And this guy's got a twin too. Claudius is his twin's name. Ellison, I can't say his name. I'll butcher that, but he has a twin too.
That one's harder for me to tell.
Well, yeah, me too. It's hard for me. I can't tell either. This one, she really looks like her to me. I would say she does a lot. She was the first Jewish woman ever on the space mission. Sharon
Too, right?
McAuliffe. Huh?
The last two.
Probably. Why? Is there any more? Look how many Jewish women have been on a space thing. Look that up for me.
How many Jewish women have been in space?
Yeah, and here's all their ancestry.com things too. So you guys can come over here and read this whole article and take a gander and let me know what you guys think. Now let's cover the fun part. So major events, right? So I'm like, okay, the Challenger blows up. I wonder how long from the Challenger until 9/11 happens. Well, guess what it is? 187 months. That's how long. 187 months from the time the Challenger blows up until the towers collapse. Interesting. And Challenger and Twin Tower equals 116, like 1,000 points of light, which that was in George Bush's inauguration speech. If you
That's a sick picture right there, by the way.
Oh, you like that? I created that.
Yeah, the Challenger and the Twin Towers. That's
Dude,
awesome, man. That's
ain't
beautiful.
that sick? Yeah, I'm turning into an artist, bro. I'm something like an artist. And then, so check this out. In Trigonometron Kabbalah, the Challenger shuttle equals 187. So it was 187 months between these two events from the Challenger until 9/11. And then using Trigonometron Kabbalah, boom, what do you get? 187, which it matches with 137 spelled out. Well, we all know 137 is the 33rd prime number, which false flag is 33, cast a spell is 33. You take the 47 by 90 degree Masonic compass, add it up. What is it? 137. So it's a number we see over and over again with these false flag type events. I'm not buying it, dude. And if you watch the original video, it is so suspect, bro. So they said that it broke off. And look at this one I made, Paranoid. 38-year anniversary of the Challenger mission. That one's pretty hard, right?
I like it. There's two Earths. There's like a fake holographic Earth outside the other one.
That's not supposed to be Earth, but it was. I told it to make Jupiter there, but that's what it made for me. So you like this one though? How I got the star,
Death Star.
yeah. It was hard to get it to do that, dude. I tried.
We still got to get together and do a little session, man, because I think I can unlock the next level for AI in you, so that Like if you ever come up with something and it's like, oh, I like it except that one part, like it's real easy to fix that one part.
Oh, like today, you did fix that one part for me. That was this part, guys. Let me see if I got it in here. Paranoid fixed it for me right here. It was like this, what I was gonna do for mine to be Dell's thumbnail, but it had an extra I in it when I created it with AI. So it said Truth Mafia with 2 eyes. And how'd you get that out of there?
That one
You
I just popped it
shortened
open
it.
in Photoshop.
Yeah, but it looks like you shortened that too.
Yeah, well, it said the Truth Mafia IIA, and then it also had like a weird little symbol that was breaking it up, but I don't think it's thetruthmafia.com. It's truthmafia.com.
It is truthmafia.com. So that's hard
Yeah,
now.
so I took the out.
Yeah, it looks pretty. I like that one. That one looks pretty freaking good right there. So, all right, and I did this one too, bro. Let me show you this one.
Oh, are they doing like surgery on like a reptilian Statue of Liberty?
No, you know why I did this? Because I was okay. Let me tell you about this story, man. I was doing a podcast while I was doing my upload video, and I was listening to this video that Greg Reese did, and he was talking about in his video. He was talking about how well he showed a clip of how this girl, she was over at Epstein's Island, and down on the island, she said that she woke up on a table and they were experimenting on her, but Epstein shapeshifted into a freaking reptilian or something. Here, let me play the clip because I'm not doing it justice. I'll play y'all the clip real quick. Did you hear I almost died, bro?
Tonight?
No, a couple days ago.
No, man.
I got bit by
I'm glad you
brown.
didn't.
I got bit by a freaking brown lacus spider, bro. And
Damn.
I'm in Ohio, so I don't even know how the hell a brown lacus spider was up here.
I
But
heard I've heard that those are described as like a bullet wound.
oh,
Like
dude,
getting
it
bit by
hurt.
one.
It hurt so bad. It felt like a bee sting to me, but a very hard one. But it was terrible, man. And I'm laying in bed watching a movie, and then it bit me, and I smacked it. That so I did kill it, and it was I had it, thank God, so I could show him. But I just go to sleep. I don't think nothing of it, right? I'm like, oh, it's some kind of spider that bit me. So I brushed it off my leg and went to sleep. And then when I wake up in the morning, my leg is swollen up like a freaking balloon. And then by the next day, I still don't go to the hospital because I'm scared of doctors. By the next day, it ate a hole in my leg.
Damn, man.
Bro, I'll show you a picture, bro. I got holes.
Please don't. I trust you. I believe you.
Oh, it's so bad, bro. It looks like I went through a zombie apocalypse.
What's the recovery time on this?
I don't know, but it turned to MRSA, so it's not looking good. I'm on heavy antibiotics, bro.
Damn, man.
Dude. I will send you a picture. You'll be shocked when you see it. You'll be like, holy cow, Tommy. It looks so bad. When my mom seen it, because I wouldn't go to the hospital, and she said, if you don't, she flipped on me, dude. Flipped out on me. If you don't go to the hospital, I'm never talking to you again. So I end up going, because you don't want your mom to not talk to you anymore.
I mean, there's some exceptions, and I think getting bit by a brown recluse spider can be one of those exceptions.
I'm just scared of doctors, dude. It freaks me out. Let me present my screen so I can show you all this clip real quick. And make sure you guys go over to paranoidamerican.com too. Check out some of his stuff. I'll plug your website before we go too, brother. And then I got to add I think I got to maybe re-add your links after this. I don't know if I did, but I'll make sure I do. Let me see here. Okay, this is the video. I turned the audio on. So I'm going to skip past the first part. Oh, man, I hate when it does this. Hold on, guys.
What are they doing? Pouring Crown Royal into a car?
They put commercials on your video on Rumble and don't pay you for them. Like, bro, how are you going to put a commercial on my video and not throw me some dough for it at least?
And then they're giving you like toilet ads too.
All right, let me get this part. Okay, so he was talking about the underground tunnels. We're going to skip that part because everybody's already heard about that. So let me get past the human trafficking too. So we won't get flagged right about here. This is where it gets good. Okay.
Oh yeah, Phil Schneider. You don't have any audio coming through, by the way.
What'd you say?
I said you don't have any audio coming through.
Oh, it's not, the audio's not working?
Mm-mm.
Are you kidding me? Did I put it on? Hold on. Stop screen shares. Thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah, that talk by Phil Schneider is a great one. There's a few of Phil Schneider online. He's the one that really, I think, it's the first time I ever heard of deep underground military bases was all through Phil Schneider.
Bro, and Phil Schneider, they hung him. You know that?
Yeah, he got taken out. He was made an example of for sure.
Bro, they really killed that poor dude, man. I seen his face was purple. But I did see a video of Phil Snyder shapeshifting before. He kind of looks like he's throwing it right here, don't he? Right.
Well, that's wild because B. Dell said that that's not an ability, that's technology. So that means that someone else might be able to shapeshift you, even if you don't want to. Someone could just point like a shapeshift ray at you, and now you're shapeshifting.
I didn't think about it like that.
I mean, if it's technology, then that means it can be applied to anybody.
Yeah, we got to get into it, B. Dell. I told you he was super cool, man. I talked to him on the phone for like 2 hours, and man, his knowledge, he's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to all this. And of course,
yeah, you can make it up. You can tell when someone's making it up as they go, but you could tell that he's got a huge library of information in there.
Yeah, no, it's from a lot of Malachi York's teachings and different teachings that he's acquired over the years. I know where he's got some of it, and he's honest with that. But like the paranoid, all of us just have our theories, right? I would never come on here and tell someone, "Oh, my theory is 100% right," because it's just my theory through my research and my decode. But one thing I will say I'm 100% right on, at least I think I am, is that we're in a simulation, because the numbers don't lie with that. But that's the only thing I would say. And in a simulation, it could be a mixture of both. I like B. Dell's explanation on how they created the firmament, but on the outside of it is the real world. That's a cool theory. You know what I mean?
I was just looking through a book today earlier. I was doing a live where I just go through all my old books. And today in particular, I went through a bunch of old Masonic books and old Masonic like magazine articles and newsletters. And there was one of them that showed an illustration where it came from the 1730s. And it was basically this gigantic room. It was like the size of a neighborhood. But you would go inside of there and they had the entire sky and the moon and all the stars as like these little pinholes in this huge dome. And the whole concept is that you could simulate the entire night and day sky if you were able to control everything that was in this, the ceiling of this big dome room. And this is like 1738. So, I mean, if anyone put their mind to that for 300 years with all the resources that you could amass, it seems like a very plausible endeavor for someone to try and test out.
Yeah, especially a super advanced race, humanoid, whatever you think they are. Everybody has their different opinion. Some people believe they're from inner Earth and they're super advanced humans, and they're the ones doing these global cataclysms. That's another thing I wanted to get into with B. Dell, but I'm going to wait to bring him back on so I can get my boy Jay Dreams on here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's got to be Jay Dreamers.
JDreamers.com. Check out JDreamers.com. His YouTube, Jay Dreamers with the Z. And he had to handle some personal business today, but I would love to get them two talking about the plasma apocalypse. And B. Dell did some work on the Blue Caccini. And then we definitely got to get him on with Ani. But tell me if you can hear this now.
Bases went on a tour.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, let's let it go.
Giving lectures and blowing the whistle on what he witnessed. He claimed there were 129 deep underground bases in America alone, all of which were the size of a small city. he found that some of these underground bases were connecting to ancient underground tunnels and cave networks that were inhabited by a non-human species, which he ran into while building an underground base beneath Dulce, New Mexico. Schneider said that the Dulce area was a hub of underground bases, all connected by a high-speed underground rail system. Less than a year after blowing the whistle, Schneider died under suspicious circumstances. Dulce, New Mexico is 170 kilometers from the Four Corners, an area known for the Skinwalkers, who the Hopi tribe describe as a non-human species that live underground. Dulce is 260 kilometers from Scientology's heavily guarded underground Trementina base. And Dulce is 200 kilometers from Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch, which is known to have an 8,000 square foot underground level and is rumored to lead even deeper underground. According to several prominent scientists who Jeffrey Epstein had as guests, Epstein hoped to seed the human race after a cataclysm by impregnating 20 women at a time at the Zorro Ranch. According to researcher Christopher John Bjerknes, the goal of breeding Jewish seed lines with Gentile women is the fulfillment of Kabbalistic legends of Samael and Lilith. According to Bjerknes, the Kabbalistic teachings include a geocentric model of the earth with an underworld that extends 7 levels beneath the surface, where a reptilian species lives. These legends foretell a cleansing of the earth when everyone on the surface will perish and only those in the underworld will survive. High-level Freemasons allegedly believe in a hollow earth where a non-human species rule from an underworld called Agartha, and their most guarded secrets seem to revolve around a cyclical cataclysmic event. Phil Schneider also built submarine bases and said that most were connected to the vast network of deep underground bases. Ghislaine Maxwell had a submarine license and was known to transport people to Epstein Island through an underwater submarine port. The U.S. military built a submarine base on St. Thomas Island, which is just 13 kilometers from Epstein Island. And right next to this submarine base is Water Island.
Now, you could tell my boy Greg Reese listened to mine and Ani's video because Ani talked about the 7 layers of heaven and hell, and he was mentioning it, connecting Water Island and all this. So we did it 2 weeks before this video came out.
Owned by Joe Biden's brother and their business associate. In a recent interview on Iconic, Juliette Bryant, who was kidnapped by Jeffrey Epstein for 2 years, said that she never witnessed any of the dozens of girls there being trafficked to any men other than Epstein. But she did wake up once paralyzed on a lab table and witnessed Epstein shapeshift into something else.
And I still want to know why exactly I was taken there, because there's a lot more weird stuff going on, because, I didn't see any girls getting trafficked to other men. So there's something else that they were doing.
That's fascinating in itself. And we have a lot of talk, and this doesn't get spoken about that much, but it's the kind of cloning DNA part that he was, obviously transhumanism, that he was interested in. Did that come up anywhere? Did you see any signs?
Well,
obviously there's scientists.
I'm just going to put it out there right now. I woke up in a laboratory there one night.
Wow.
These are the things I haven't wanted to talk about because it's frightening. But there were scientists there, and I woke up one night in a laboratory, paralyzed and naked on a table. I would like to be lie detected on this. There are other weird things that I saw. I saw Epstein shift in front of my eyes. It was very, very frightening. And it's something that I had to explain to myself because I saw him turn into something.
Greg Reese.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I created that image. It was inspired by that video right there, dude.
That's wild. I've never heard or seen that before. I'm going to dive into that.
Has. That's what I'm saying. That video right there, I don't think anyone's seen it yet. And that's why I had to get that up out there. And that's why I created this image right here, bro.
Well, that's going to have to go into the Epstein's Quest game too now.
Yeah, we'll have to get that on the Epstein Quest game. So what are your thoughts on that video? Let me hear.
I mean, I think that there's something definitely to the deep underground military bases. I think that that's not even a conspiracy. Those are proven. The outlandish aspect of what Phil Schneider was talking about is that there's alien entities under these, but the more I look into this too, I start from an extreme skeptic, almost like, that's silly, like children type stuff. But man, if you overlay a lot of these reports too with, you ever heard of the missing 411? This is a guy that he's looked at all these disappearances around national parks. And national parks, if you take the overlay of all these people on the missing 411 and you lay it on top of the underground tunnel system and the national park system, they all kind of line up directly with each other. So there's this implication that these vast underground tunnel networks exist, and that they've got these portals essentially in these various national parks, and that people absolutely go missing constantly in these areas. Now, it might just be people getting lost in the woods. No one ever sees them again. But if you give any credit to this concept of skinwalkers or anything that Phil Schneider said outside of just deep underground military bases, then all of a sudden this missing 411 and the underground cave systems, and I mean, and not to make it sound silly, but like even Bigfoot can kind of fit into this same pool, because some people might call Bigfoot, other people might call them skinwalkers, other people might call them ancient underground tunnel aliens or whatever, but it might just be the same thing that people are describing in different ways.
Yeah, it's definitely fascinating to say the least, right? I love looking into it. And one of Bedel's people said, Isaiah, shout out to Isaiah. Can you speak if we are transferring into a new age? What should we do to be prepared? I heard moving up to the Midwest is the best location right now. Brother, I would say no, the Midwest is not the best location. I'm up here in the Midwest, and you know where them twin eclipses are making that X, bro, over the New Madrid fault line? I think there's going to be a major cataclysm up here, and that's where they did all that fracking, Isaiah, right up that New Madrid fault line. And here, let me show you an image of it, brother. Let me pull this up for you real quick. Twin eclipses. I think there's an old military map that leaked that shows America being split up the middle, and then the whole West Coast is gone. 2017, 2024.
I mean, we're definitely headed into a new age. You were just talking about the movement of Pluto, but also we've moved into almost fully, right, the age of Aquarius now. Isn't that where we're supposed to be?
Yeah, and who used to talk about that?
Well, I mean, a lot of people. I always go to KRS-One. KRS-One always used to talk about that.
And Crowley.
Yeah.
Crowley talked about the age of Aquarius a lot, right? So,
and Aquarius is supposed to be the transition into like more cerebral, spiritual range. Although that might explain why there's so much pushback now, like that, why we got these chaff Faraday cages in the sky, like that. Maybe it's because it's a fight back against allowing what the natural progression would normally entail.
That's a good theory. I think you might be onto something there, actually. And so, see these twin eclipses? They make an X right over this New Madrid fault line, and that's where it's supposed to split up the middle, right? Like in this area, and that's where they did all that fracking too. And you look up, what is it? Hold on a second. U.S. Naval Map. This came out like before YouTube blew up. Well, let me see if I can find the proper one. I was talking to BTEL about it. Yeah. Right around here. I think that's the one that shows it split. Damn, that is so little. Who could see that? Oh, here we go. That's the one that leaked back in the day. Because I watched this, guys, on a freaking VHS tape. That dude was talking about cataclysms and pole shift and connected to Nibiru, right? Now I'm starting to think, my personal view on Nibiru, I think it's a dimension that they're opening up, these interdimensional stargates, these portals through technology like CERN, right? And that's where some of these other entities are from, this other reality through the multiverse. But regardless what it is, if it's a dimension, if it's a planet, something's going on right now. Some people think it's from inner Earth, from Shangri-La, the dark sun, the black sun, the destroyer. And then there's a whole school of thought that thinks it's just all sun simulators and that they're going to pretend that it's happening while they're using the wrath of God, which shoots these rods down into Earth and can literally mimic like a nuclear explosion without any fallout. So they could project the hologram around it and say Apophis, right? Or a piece of Apophis. But as you see here, it splits that all right up there. And some people think it'll like, to connect the Great Lakes and all that. And then the West Coast is pretty gone. Well, just look up this. This was 7 years before Corona. CIA declassified this on the CIA's website, guys. CIA declassified the Adam and Eve story. And why did they classify it in the first place? And it talks about this calamity. Let me find the part so I can read it for you guys. Hold on one second, because it sounds not so fun. You ever see this, Paranoid?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite docs from this too, man. This is wild.
I know, it's so weird, dude.
There's another really cool one too. It's not related to this, but if you ever got time too to look for Alice in Wonderland programming, there's a whole explanation from the CIA's documents where they describe a specific type of mind control, and they even themselves name it Alice in Wonderland programming.
Wow. Yeah, I got to check that out. Okay, here we go. It talks about the Mayans, these different global cataclysms connected to the Great Flood and all these different ones. That's all that part. See, 4,500 years ago, 11,500. And this was, in 2013 when, or actually it was written in, I think they classified it back in the 60s or 70s, but it was released June 24th of 2013.
How do you get this job at the CIA? Like, I want to join the CIA and just research Genesis and Regenesis and write about like occult research.
Me too. What's it say about the Naga? A translation interpretation of Genesis 1, 2, and 3 from a reconstruction of what the Naga must have been to give us the chapters as we have had them in English. That's interesting. The Naga, ain't that serpent race?
Yeah, this is hardcore. This is like real deep right now. Like we're on like one of those when you see the big posters of the iceberg and all the different conspiracies. Like we're towards the bottom of the iceberg on this one.
Yeah. We're deep on this one. I'm trying to find this one part I want to read for him, but I feel like
I don't want to Irish exit. I'm gonna have to go in like a minute or two here.
Oh, you're good, brother. But anyways, I'll just summarize it. It says, you guys can come read it over here. It says that this cataclysm is going to wash away the whole West Coast. It says Los Angeles, San Francisco will be washed away like a grain of sand. New York will be at the bottom of the ocean. Dallas will be at the bottom of the ocean. This was all declassified by the CIA. So I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. And it was 7 years before Rona. It was the same time that Pope came in, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, that lives in room 201. And, event 201, the whole simulation situation, that 201 is a really big number. But yeah, this was just fascinating. So what if we are in some type of a government drill that is like a cataclysm, and that's why they're all going underground as well? Let me plug you before you go off. Do you got any crazy stuff on your website?
No, so everything is safe. And also, and actually, at the very top of paranoidamerican.com, I just checked. I got 4 left because I think like I sold 7 of these combo packs today. So I got 4 left, and then they're all gone forever. And that's the Paranoid American 2023 combo pack. You got the homie Juan in there. It's got, I think, like 26 different items for $33. Coincidentally.
That's
nothing. It was a coincidence.
That has nothing to do
with it. It's got the MK Ultra pamphlet. It's got the homunculus owner's manual that breaks down alchemical and spiritual homunculus concepts. It's got a bunch of stickers, prints, all kinds of cool stuff in here.
It's a fun way to learn, and especially if you got kids, you can get this for your kids. Well, what's better than to teach the kids about chemtrails? And this book is actually fascinating. My 6-year-old daughter has it in her room. So,
It's legit. Anyone that's taken a look at it, adult or child, knows that it's 100% a legit book. Not only is it entertaining, it's full of like facts, but it's like it's not something that beats you over the head with it. It's legitimately a great children's book.
And he's got the Frazzle Dripper Funhouse. So
also not a children's book, to be
not
very clear. This one
not
is not
a children's book, right?
Maybe I should organize the comics on there a little bit.
Yeah. Get that one away from the children's book. But that's all on paranoidamerican.com. And then, guys, over on my other website, so I got truthmafia.com and I got truthfultv.com. All my links are in the description. On truthfultv.com, this is where I do my personal decodes. You just scroll down. There's a video up here that walks you through the whole process, and you can get a reading or a dream interpretation. And you just click on it, set up your date. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You just check out as a guest using PayPal for secure checkout. We also got some new items on our store over here. We got some stuff that blocks all this negative energy we're getting bombarded with, the hats that block the microwaves. We got the organite pyramids. They put this guy, William Reich, I believe was his name. They put him in prison for developing that technology, these organite things, right? And then Etsy.
Yeah, and they use those for cloud busting too. That was basically like anti-chemtrail devices.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I've read everything about them, and we got the pyramids, we got the necklaces, and that price is not a mistake. That's with shipping included. So you ain't gonna find no one cheaper. $14, $26. You notice most of my stuff is 26 and 17. That's because $8 or 2 + 6 is 8, 1 + 7 is 8. The number 8 attracts money. That's a known fact. Shout out to Gary, the numbers guy. He taught us all that back in the day. But they say obsidian is really good to block like witchcraft and black magic attacks. So, yeah, man, it's just really cool. All different kinds of stuff. It's a good way to support the podcast. Check it out. And don't forget to check out our truthmafia.com. Now I'll take some questions and then we'll sign out,
And thanks for everyone for watching. I'm gonna have to dip out. I'll stay along next time to answer questions. But
all right,
you,
brother. You have a great night.
Hey, peace to everyone in the comments. Keep it drama free, y'all.
Yeah, keep it drama free, or you will be blocked. Yeah, that black obsidian works really good, man. And a lot of the native tribes used it. Well, not really the Native Americans, but the Mayans, the Aztecs. Now, mostly they were using it to sacrifice people, but they even would make jewelry out of the obsidian. And it has a bunch of spiritual properties where it's really good for blocking negative energy. So, yeah, it's awesome, man. Turquoise. I've been finding out from doing these personal decodes, guys, that everybody's, because I always thought my birthstone's stupid. I'm like, man, why couldn't I have a cool birthstone? But mine's garnet. But all of our birthstones, garnet, emerald, it doesn't matter really what it is. They all hold different metaphysical properties to them and healing properties. Some activate the heart chakra, some activate the root chakra, some activate your throat chakra, just different properties. And everything was given to us organically, but just it's been manipulated, and now they hit us with big pharma and they just want to medicate us, so it's kind of crazy. Just like they're creating this artificial reality, a matrix within a matrix, with these sun simulators, the chemtrails. It seems like they want to turn everything artificial. With them chemtrails too, we didn't get into this, but one thing I'm going to tell you all to research tonight for your homework. You've heard of black goo, right, guys? Everybody in here has heard of black goo. It's called programmable matter. And that's what they put to use. It's in graphene oxide, but it's also used to create this third strand of DNA. Well, they got this other stuff called gray goo that has a patent number. And the gray goo is being sprayed from the chemtrails. And everything it comes in contact with organically, it converts. and flips it and makes it artificial. Research gray goo. And then when you look into what the AI is really doing, how this AI went through different dimensions of the multiverse, eating up organic life, and it's eating up organic life so it can power this phantom matrix. That is what the elites are trying to get us all to merge with and download our consciousness to this phantom matrix. So when we die here in the physical, instead of going back into the life, death, rebirth cycle, and then eventually when you're done here and you achieve all your goals, you'll ascend to the higher realms, right? What we've come to know as heaven. Heaven comes from the word head. Heel comes from the word hell comes from heel. So it's a higher state of consciousness, but it's also a place where you exist in your astral body, your light form. But they want to trap us from being able to escape this reality at all. And wait, so we'll die and wake up in that quantum reality. That's why they're using the black goo, the third strand DNA, to create a quantum copy, a digital copy of your soul. And then it goes with the RF spectrum, the 5G network, the smart grid, the smart cities, the smart cars, the smart coffee filters. Everything's smart now. But it's all to roll out this this grid that they're putting out. So it's pretty crazy, man. The what we really need to do is get away from all this technology and get back in tune with Mother Nature. But then how do you do that? You can't go out and sun gaze no more, because who even knows if we're gazing at the real sun? Might be getting blasted with something artificial. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely crazy. So what are your guys' thoughts before I go on this sun simulator? Have any of you guys in the comments heard about it? And if so, do you think that's what maybe their Nibiru is, or do you think Nibiru is a real planet? I would love to hear y'all's opinion on that. Y'all seen that picture I showed you of the sun? Let me show you this real quick while I'm waiting on y'all to answer me. I mean, what is going on there, guys? Looks like a flashlight. And that's artificial. And think about this, right? When you die, they say you go into this bright white light. Well, I got shot 4 times in my chest. My brother got hit in the head. He died right in front of me. I died on the in the ambulance when they were trying to hit my chest. And I didn't see no damn bright white light, though. Before they even hit my chest, I stepped out of my body when I was laying out on the street. And I seen the old lady. I watched her call the ambulance, everything. I seen my brother die. I was outside of my body watching myself. Maybe I wasn't all the way dead yet. I don't know. But I didn't ever get to the part where I seen the bright white light. But they talk about, a lot of people say, you go into this bright white light. And, there's this theory that the bright white light is an artificial light. And it's kind of that the whole thing with masonry too, where they say you got to go into the darkness, and through the darkness you'll find the true light, because you go into this bright white light, and that is not your loved ones that come to you. They're these archons that they can shapeshift into your loved ones. When you go into that light, your memory gets wiped clean. Then they throw you back into a child's body, where you go back into the reincarnation cycle, and they can then again harvest that loose energy from you, that lower vibrational energy, which is what we are, some type of energetic food source. And they say if you turn away from that light and go through the darkness, then you wake up in your true form, right? Your light body, because you'll find this golden light. So that's what this reminds me of. When I look at this sun, I think of that. I'm like, man, this shit looks fake. Looks like a flashlight to me. And I know for sure that when I was growing up, we had an orange sun, right? Or am I tripping? Or did CERN reset the damn timelines again? Because last time I thought we used to have an orange sun. Maybe it's the Mandela effect. Or maybe it's them solar maximums everybody keeps talking about. I don't know. But that don't look real, man. It definitely don't. You said there was? Yeah, I think there was a yellow sun too, 100%. Trying to read everybody's comments as I go. 100%. I can remember it. I have pictures of it. It does kind of look blue too, Lacey. That's a cool way to spell your name. Lacey, like the ocean. Let me read these. James Webb. Hey, why did they name that after a real guy, James Webb? They're always coming up with this James Webb this and James Webb that. And then they released these James Webb images. I swear to God, the one looked like a girl's private area and the other one looked like a gentleman's. Did y'all see that one go viral? Man, it's sometimes I really feel like they're trolling us with that. It's like, let's see who's dumb enough to believe this. What was that called? That one that went viral that looked like the, I forget what it was called, but it was crazy looking. Damn, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Let me look it up. Hold on a second. Let me see. James Webb. There it is. Oh, viral. Where is the one that looked like the vajayjay? There was one that looked like a vajayjay and one that looked like a ball sack. I'm not even joking you. It was crazy as hell. I'll find it on my Instagram later and share it for you guys so you can see it. Well, I don't see it on here, but we should check this before we go. Oh, they just released some new James Webb stuff 3 hours ago, and it looks like it looks honestly like something AI created. That's what it reminds me of here. I'll show you guys. This is their newest James Webb edition. 1 second. Yeah. Hey, Rachel, wasn't it you that showed that thing, that nebula that looked like a vajayjay and one looked like a scrotum? Wasn't that you that shared that? Yo, I swear it's like they're trolling us, man. And then I was thinking about this, guys. Tell me what you think about this theory. So movies suck now, right? For like the last 3 years. And what if, because of this cataclysm, they're already going underground and that now all the movies are getting created by AI? Because now we're starting to find out what AI can really do. And, if they give us, you guys see what I create with AI. So imagine what they can create with AI. I could take any YouTuber on the internet, take a 30-second image of him, and then I could take it in, run it through AI, and have a full hour podcast of that YouTuber with his voice podcasting on any subject I want him to talk about. And you wouldn't know. You would not know. So that's crazy that they can do that. It's going to get really crazy here in the future. We're not going to know what's real, guys. And I kind of think that's what they want, right? Here's their new James Webb stunning images. Looks like some BS to me, though. Even if space is real, I still think they lie about this stuff. There might be something on the other side of that firmament. They say there's water up there, but I don't know, I don't know, man. I've never been up there, so let's see what type of lies they've told us today. North Korean official killed by a protester in China. Oh, wow. Oh, where's the trending news at? Oh, here, let's do this. Google Trends. See what's trending right now, guys, before we go. I'm going to chop B. Dell's interview up and make that a fire-ass 30-minute video with some images. Eminem is who cares? Suicide Squad killed. What is this all about? Is this a new movie? Oh. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Is that a movie, guys? Oh, if that's a movie, I need to watch that. Let me see. I like that shark dude. Okay, this is. Oh, it's a game. Damn it. I don't play games. Thought it was a movie for a second. No, just a bunch of dumb stuff. Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is trending now, but who really cares about that? Bunch of football. Yeah, nothing exciting. What are they talking about with Robert De Niro? No, it looks stupid too. Well, there you go, guys. So, man, we still got 1,227 people in this live. I just want to thank you guys for rocking out with us. To all Bedel's people, thank you for coming over and checking us out, man. I really enjoyed you guys. If you're new to my content, go over on my Facebook, Truth Mafia Podcast, and look at the new video I just dropped today. And there's a bunch of really good videos over there that I can't share on YouTube because they're a little too, YouTube is more believe in censorship, way more than Facebook. So I can share some stuff over there that I can't share here. And yeah, thank you guys all that came over from Bedell. He's a really good dude. And to my people, go over and subscribe to Bedell. All right, go check him out, guys. I love y'all. Hit that like button. I'm out of here.